More on the story now with Sarah Leah Whitson. She's also in New York, and she's a lawyer and the executive director of Democracy for the Arab World Now. Sarah, it's great to have you on the program. So when it comes to the impact of the US's latest actions, how will this affect the proceedings at the UN next month when some Western countries say that they will formally recognize a Palestinian state?
Well, the goal and the intent of the U.S. State Department is to disrupt the proceedings and to disrupt a discussion or conversation, not only about Palestinian statehood, but by the UN General Assembly resolution ordering Israel to end its occupation within a one-year deadline, which has now been reached. This is an effort to stop discussion not only about the ongoing genocide in Gaza, but the sanctions that should be taken against Israel in accord with its failure to abide by the International Court of Justice's order to evacuate its settlements. It's a shocking move, and I hope that the UNGA does what it did the last time the United States tried to block a discussion of Palestine by revoking a visa to the Palestinian Authority President Yasser Arafat, which is to move their UN General Assembly meeting to Geneva. That is what we are urging the United Nations to do. And everyone should know that under the Trump administration, the Palestinian Authority might be the first to face this kind of intervention, to literally block them from participating in a United Nations meeting, and could be brought to use against other states as well.
Could these actions, though, instead of actually trying to dissipate the conversation, further amplify the conversation about the Palestinian state, but also, of course, about the actions that Israel continues to take in Gaza that so many are saying is genocidal? Israel has become so much of a pariah state over the last 2 years since this war started that this type of action from the United States just makes other countries want to discuss this even more.
Well, I certainly hope so. But what's astonishing is the extent to which the Trump administration is willing to use its political capital, its force, its sanctions, its threats against every state around the world, not for something that is in America's own interest, but is in the interests of Israel. This is really quite baffling, I think, to many in President Trump's own electoral base, which are increasingly questioning why President Trump continues to put the United States at the front of a defense for this genocidal state that is massacring children every day. It's very hopeful that the international community will reject this bullying and intimidation. The notion that they're imposing conditions on the Palestinian Authority in order to be entitled to a visa that the United States is legally obligated to provide is just an absurd level of intimidation. And again, it's not for America's own interest. This is all about Israel.
Sarah, as someone who's obviously in the United States, you're working in the space where people are very aware of what is happening in Gaza right now. How important is it that continued pressure on the United States government from people within the country, like we have seen in other countries, because so much of the questions surrounding Israel and what's happening in Palestine has come from ordinary people who have gone out week after week to protest this genocide that's taking place. I would then think it's equally as important for those in the United States to continue campaigning to bring this to the attention of people in the country and to force their government's hand.
Well, Americans have a greater responsibility than just about anyone in the world next to Israelis themselves to protest the savage slaughter in Gaza, because I think it's very clear that the United States is aiding and abetting this genocide with its massive military support, political support, and public support. This is on American people, and Americans have an obligation and a duty to say no. In fact, that's exactly what Americans are saying. Over 70% of American Democrats oppose further military aid to Israel, believe Israel is committing a genocide. There is an intense debate and discussion within the Republican Party, led by folks like Tucker Carlson, Congressman Tom Massey, Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who are questioning why the Trump administration is taking so many risks, exposing the United States to global isolation to protect this genocidal state. There is a tremendous shift in opinion in the United States about America's continued unquestioned support for the government of Israel. Just today, another American congresswoman announced she would no longer take funds from AIPAC, which is Israel's primary foreign agent here in the United States. But whether that will be enough to stop the genocide and save the people in Gaza, unfortunately, I don't know if it's clear. Right now, what Israel is trying to do is to move forward with its plans to exterminate or expel all of the Palestinian people in Gaza. It is an emergency, and we cannot wait. We cannot wait for visas. We cannot wait for changes in American politics. We need an international UN peacekeeping force right now to save the people of Gaza. We are watching a live stream genocide.
Sarah Leah Whitson, it's great to get your take from Dawn. Thank you so much for speaking to us.